I just want to say quick, I think a sitting councilman member attacking a councilman, a person running for counseling and saying things that are not true about him is bad taste and should be avoided. That's all I can say about that. Now in the pool, you said that you thought one pool met the needs of the community this summer. Now we got to remember July was very wet, so there weren't a lot of needs. But in August, I got to use the pool. My 3 grandkids went with me for the first time, and let me just take a moment and say, the council people that made that happen, you should be very proud of yourself. That's a wonderful, wonderful asset for this community, and you know, a lot of times people will come in here and tell you bad things about you, but when you do something good, you deserve credit and kudos to you, because it is great. But we went, it was the second week in August. It was a hot day, but not a sweltering day. And by the time we left, there was a line waiting because the pool was at capacity. I don't know how long, we left the park, so I don't know how long the line held up. 4 people could get in when we left, so obviously the needs are greater for the community. But you gotta kind of look at the pools too, not just in numbers, but when I talk about a dog park, which I'm gonna get to, you talk about a city dog park or a block dog park, and a block dog park serves an area. The other 2 pools more serve an area. The city pool would be the one at the park, but the other 2 would be considered a block pool. Where a lot of people don't have pools in their backyard, but they don't even have cars to get there. And I guess the bus even to get to the park was cut out this summer. So somebody that lives in an area that has kids and needs to get to the park, if you're in the flats or in the Northside, that's a long haul to get there. They would very much appreciate it. It might not work out in the numbers, but it works out in helping your people. On hospice, you had a list of, I know it's hard to decide who deserves money and who doesn't, but anybody that used hospice is going to be way up here on the list. There's just nothing that compares to hospice. People are at their most vulnerable and in most need, and that's how you have to look at things for the community, because you said you'd rather do things for taxpayers than a not-for-profit, but the not-for-profit is doing the things for the taxpayers, so it's one and the same. It's just what serves the community the best. And if you need help making a list, I can tell you. But it's very easy that hospice should be way up here, and we should hold them in high regard and do what we can for them. There's a common thread: pool, hospice, dog park. How did I get there? But these are things for the poor and the middle class. Rich people aren't using the pool or they may use hospice, but it's not. They have an option whether they use it or not. The poor and middle class, they just thank God they have it. And in the dog parks, rich people are welcome. We'll welcome open arms, but it's for the poor and middle class. I wanted to get here last meeting, but I didn't really feel good. But I wanted to talk about you putting in a second memorial at the park, and it's like I'm for the 10th memorial, but it was never for it at the park. I lost a son-in-law, and my cousin that I grew up 3 houses away from died on board drum, and now every time I go to the park, there's tugging in my heart when I see that memorial. And now I lost a friend to COVID, very close friend in January. Yeah, you got a memorial for that. But why not, if you want to do something memorial-wise at the park, have them do something that improves the park. Like, my plan for the dog park, I want an open-air pavilion. Why not have a COVID memorial open-air pavilion or something else that benefits the park? I want to build a safe and successful dog park, but you can't have safe and successful without safe. You don't think I would have been overjoyed to take the spot by the zoo and just say, yay, we did it. But since the pool and the splash pad are there, it's too loud on that side of the park. It's not a good place. I didn't know we would put a dog park in 2007. I asked the city, and Gene Hayes said the lookout adjacent site is the ideal spot for a dog park in the city. And so that's what we've been doing, is trying to build the spot that is ideal. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to build a lesser thing. 4 out of 5 council members sitting there have supported this. They say they support it. So why not just put a resolution on the table for the lookout, a citizen site, and vote it up, vote it down. I mean, I probably won't go to the getting it on the ballot thing because we have an election coming. If this council doesn't do it, I'll be here for the next one. I'm not going to stop till this is done. But if you put a resolution on the table now, it's the perfect time to fundraise before we get into the Christmas rush. You know, because I don't want to take away from kids, you know, getting Christmas presents. If we're going to try to fundraise, now is the time. I'm already set up with Randy Richardson, you know, North Country Community Foundation to go whenever we're ready. And like, I don't think there'll be time to get Mia's books out by Christmas, but it would be cool if I could. And then part of that money goes into a fund that's going to help any, you know, animal charity things besides the dog park. So I would like you to consider putting it on the table if you would. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Jason Tran. There's been an issue going on for a long time. For many years, I talked to a neighbor that lives in that building. I'm not going to give you his name because there would be a lot of backlash on him. But he explained to me that this issue has been going on many years with the infestation of cockroaches and bed bugs. The bug inspector, or the bug guy, spray guy, is not taking care of the issue. Because you can spray the apartments, but if you're not going towards where they really come out of, you're just wasting your time. This picture here, mostly they come out of the rubbish, trash chute. Sunday, I asked Donnie Lee to come over and to have a witness. And down this trash chute, there was over between 5 and 10 cockroaches crawling down there. And I have lots of questions, and the public has lots of questions for you guys. How often do code enforcement go and check these buildings? Do they do it daily? Should there be living standards when you're talking about the seniors and old people that live in these apartment complexes? Does the Department of Health care of how the conditions of the residents that live in Midtown Towers? I made lots of calls last week to the Department of Labor. It says it's not their problem. I called code enforcement, no answer. I called them about 10 times. The phone was busy. And the public wants to know, how often does code enforcement go in these buildings? Does the Department of Health and the people that are tied to it, Scott Bray and the rest of our representatives, do they spend time with the people that are suffering the most? We had 5 buildings condemned because of neglect, because the system is failing here in Watertown, New York. For 2 months, I've been tormented mentally by looking over my shoulders in my floor. And I want to tell the public that I'm not a dirty person, nor do I ever have the issue with this problem. I talked to Jeff Graham on the radio station because it's concerned with me and the public at large. As a leader for all, it doesn't matter if I get elected or not. I will fight for change. And the public, like I said, how often does code enforcement go in these buildings? Does the Department of Health check on people And the background check that the Office of Midtown Towers, do they thoroughly check for safe people to come in these public funded buildings like Midtown Towers, Hilltop, and these other ones? This neighbor told me that a lot of these buildings that are publicly funded by taxpayers are filled with cockroaches and bedbugs. It's been many years. I'm 42 years old, I've never seen it this bad in my life. Many years ago, I used to live in 1005 in Midtown Towers, and I've never seen them. And I want to know, the public wants to know, are the taxpayers that are paying these office workers that you gave a raise to quite a few months ago for doing a good job, are they really doing a good job? Are they taking care of a bug that can cause someone a disease? They don't bite people now because there's lots of food. But when that food runs out, they will bite you. They will eat your flesh. And I want to know, the public wants to know, you guys are missing action. And I don't know what's going on, but it needs to change. It's not a safe place to live, and I said the first Monday of this month, the question remains, do you want Midtown Tower to be a 661 Factory Street? Because the bugs are still there, the bug inspectors that spray stuff ain't working. They're not looking in the right places. You have to spray every apartment and inspect it and make sure there's none in it. This is a public health crisis, like I said. And a lot of other people care, but they're too afraid to talk about it because they will get backlash from the city and from Midtown Towers. I don't know what country we live in if these problems have been going on for years. And after 4 years, people forget about your needs. They forget, they care about themselves. And if this problem doesn't take care of it, it's going to get worse. And I do not want to see Midtown Tower be condemned because of inactions of the office and the pay raise that you guys gave the office. So please investigate, because my team is investigating this matter, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Phillips, on Mill Street.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Public hearing.
Yep.
Please be advised that a public hearing has been scheduled for Monday, September 20th, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. in City Hall Council Chambers to solicit public comments on the city's draft program year 2020 consolidated annual performance and evaluation report for the city's community development block grant program.
All right, this is a public hearing, public input here, input on community development block grant, community development block grant program, consolidated in performance. Does anybody? Oh, sorry.
Public input on community development block grant program consolidated annual performance and evaluation report. Anybody wishing to be heard, please go to the microphone. Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, I just wanted to give the members of the council and the public just a real brief overview of the purpose of the public hearing tonight. It's one of two public hearings that's required for the city's Cdbg program. This particular public hearing coincides with the submission of our Cdbg annual report, which is also called the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, or CAPER for short. Staff has been working on the draft CAPER throughout the last half of August, and we completed that on September 3rd. and published a notice in the Times that it was available for public review, and that this public hearing would be held tonight. The draft paper has also been available in our office, city clerk's office, the library, as well as the Watertown Housing Authority offices, and on the city's website. The purpose of the caper really is to highlight the city's annual performance, what we've been doing, what our accomplishments are for our Cdbg program for the 2020 program year, which is July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2021. Just real quickly, some of the projects that were completed this year. We completed the construction of sidewalks in the 400 and 500 blocks of Tilden Street, the west side of the 600 and 700 blocks of Starbuck Avenue. It's important to note the 500 block of Tilden Street did not previously have sidewalks, so this project was important that it filled a gap in the sidewalk network, improving pedestrian connectivity and walkability in the area. I think that was real important to note. We also completed the Northside ADA ramp construction project, which involved construction of 24 ADA sidewalk ramps at various locations in the northwest section of the city. Installed a bus shelter on Grove Street. We demolished a house at 428 Maple Avenue, city-owned structure that was condemned. Our housing program, we were able to rehab 4 rental units as well as 9 owner-occupied units, and we assisted 4 home buyers in purchasing homes. We got to work on some of our Cdbg coronavirus funding through the CARES Act. As you know, we began implementing some of the food pantry programs. And really, that was about it as far as money spent for Cdbg CV, although we did establish the program guidelines, application process for the Small Business Emergency Relief Program. Just to note on, or make a note on that, we've received about 45 applications, 36 have been approved, and some checks will be cut later this week for the first dozen or so businesses that initially applied and approved. So that money, although it wasn't accomplished last program year, I just wanted to let you know that money is going out the door. The next step for the caper process is to incorporate any public comments we receive here tonight, finalize the draft report, and then submit it to HUD by September 28th, which is deadline. So I'll give you that quick overview. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions? Any other input from the public? Any other public comments? Going once, twice. Declare the public hearing closed. Saunders?
Please be advised that a public hearing has been scheduled for Monday, September 20th, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. in City Hall Council Chambers, 245 Washington Street, Watertown, New York, to consider changing the approved zoning classification of 111 and 145 Clinton Street, parcel number 1007, 110.000, and 1007, 112.000 from limited business to downtown.
All right, this is a public hearing to hear public input on the zone change classification of 145 Clinton Street from limited business to downtown. Anybody from the public wishing to be heard, please go to the microphone. Again, zone change, 145 Clinton Street. Anybody wishing to be heard? Declare that public hearing closed. All right. Back to the privilege of the floor.
Yeah, I like that the map from the bus is updated, but the routes haven't been updated. I ride the bus when I can, and when I can't, ride it. I ride my bike. Rode it a couple times, and I would like to see, once the drivers get filled, to see it at least extended on the weekends. A lot of people I talk to, they either are babysitting in the weekends and they can't even get out, that they have transportation. I'd like it to extend it at least another hour or two. Today I was making dinner before I was coming here, and there's been numerous accidents on Mill and Eastward and Westward. And today, another one. Thank God nobody was hurt, but another accident happened today. There's been at least 5 that I can remember. Some of them pretty bad, some of them minor. It's right by Schuler's. You have kids walking home from school when there is school. If that was a little kid that was walking out and got hit, it doesn't make sense why we couldn't put a traffic light there. I've told this council many of times that people use Mill Street as a racing stretch because it's a large stretch. You'll see people going down there probably 40, 50 miles per hour. They'll start at Stewart's and they'll go down the rest of the way until they get to Creekwood. I don't hear that much in my house, but when you have people that have their stereos blasting to the point where you can hear it from your house, it's kind of annoying. You call the police, they can't even do anything because they can't catch the people that are doing it. It makes me think that the city council, you're doing your best, but your best is not enough. There's got to be something, just like with Arsenal up here by the bus stop. There's got to be something to make it so that the people that are in cars can slow down and think. I go out on my bike at least to go to the movies. Now I know Arsenal Street doesn't belong to the city, but I've almost been hit coming out of people coming out of Tooley's, people coming out of McDonald's. When's enough enough? People are not regarding the signs for us the bikers. People that are, when I see somebody coming out, I stop. If nobody's coming out, I make sure that I'm seen with my yellow light that I got, and people have stopped and waved me on. But for people that don't care and just basically want to run out in front of you or run out in front of a city bus driver, one day one person's going to get hit by somebody. And it's not going to be a person that's out in the community. It's going to be a person by either the city bus, by DPW, or somebody that you guys have hit. Now, 2 of you actually showed me that you care about Watertown. 3 of you've shown me that you've given up. Like, you want to just throw in the towel. Don't throw in the towel.